Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi, to connect with other women who may need someone to talk to around everyday's life issues and challenges, from managing career and household to inner productivity, relationships, and other hot topics. Samut-Sari Conversation with Mimi.
Hello, this is Mimi Laurelia, your host for today, and welcome to my podcast, Samut-Sari Conversations with Mimi. And for this episode, we are going to have a special guest as usual. I love having guests in the show because I get to talk to people, and I love this person, so I invited her to join us. She's 20 years old. She's a student here in Melbourne. She is also working, so we'll ask her about that. And she's also an entrepreneur. She has an online business. We'll also talk about that in a little while. And we'll talk about Gen Y. I think she's a member of Gen Y, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. She's a millennial. So I say hello to our special guest, Anna Bascon. Hi, Anna. How are you?
Hello. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all coping well during isolation, staying safe and healthy. Thank you so much, Mimi, for having me here today. Despite everything that's going on around us, I'm absolutely stoked to be here. And it really just shows the power of technology, how we don't even need to meet in person. And we can conduct the podcast while we're at home or wherever.
Yes, that's fantastic. You know, Anna, this podcast is about, I don't know, because you're with the Filipino heritage yourself. I don't know what, if you know what the word samut-sari means.
I know what sari store means.
Somewhat related. So, you know, when it's sari store, it's a variety shop, like a little store with a lot of things. So samut-sari means anything and everything. It's also a collage or menagerie of different things. So, and the reason why I've developed this podcast in such a way that it's entitled Samut-Sari is so because I want to talk about a variety of things in the show. I want to talk about hot topics with interest for women and of course men alike. The target audience of the show is mostly Filipinos living abroad. But of course, when we mean abroad, regardless of where you are, anyone who is not in your country is a Filipino living abroad, right? So hopefully our show will reach as many Filipinos all over the globe in the near future. And I'm very happy to be a part of the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate because they were the ones that invited me to create the show. And I've also longed to have something like this. You know, we're doing this for speakers in my workplace, so why not do it for myself? If I can,
it's
crazy. Do it for myself. Okay, so Anna, I'm pretty sure that the people will be intrigued about who you are and what you do. So I think it's time for me to give you an opportunity to tell everyone who is Anna Bascon.
Who is Anna Bascon? Okay, so as Mimi said, I'm 20 years old. Actually, I don't even know if you mentioned that. I'm 20 years old. I was born in Auckland, New Zealand, but I've been living in Melbourne for ever since I could remember, to be honest. My family moved from Philippines to Auckland in 1995, and then I was born in New Zealand in 1999, and then we moved to Australia in 2000. So I don't really remember much about New Zealand, but in fact, I'm actually supposed to be in New Zealand right now, but obviously that was cancelled. But I'm super grateful to be here with my family anyway, and once everything blows over, I'll be back to explore the roots where I was
and
born.
We've also talked about some of the things in New Zealand that you might be interested in visiting and some activities that you might want to do. So you were literally made in New Zealand, but you grew up here in Australia. Okay, so you mentioned that you are currently studying. So what is
Yeah.
this career path that you have in mind? What is your course and why did you choose that course for your study?
So I'm studying a Bachelor of Social Sciences, along with working as an aged care and disability support worker.
Mhm.
I love that I'm working, like everyone matters at the end of the day, because I was initially studying to be a physiotherapist, but then on the side, I was also studying a diploma of community services and case management. And while I was simultaneously studying both, I realized I was so much more passionate um, about child protection and working with vulnerable and disadvantaged groups. So then I moved past paths and started changing courses into social sciences, which is similar to social work, but it's a lot more broad. And I get to understand the way people behave and the way that sorry, just a call, the way that people behave and their attitudes and how they act in today's society. So that's what really intrigued me. So what a support worker does is I help individuals from disadvantaged groups to live a fruitful and independent life, along with assisting them with domestic care or taking them to recreational activities of their choice, and just really guiding my clients to reach their goals and needs. And
Yes.
I just love it because you can help in the smallest ways, but to them, they see it as a big difference and they appreciate it. And it's just one of the most fulfilling and rewarding jobs in like my eyes.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's true. I believe in it because I also work in the sector. I work in the disability and aged care sector. But I want to backtrack a bit because you said you were intrigued working with the vulnerable groups, children, or older people, and potentially
Yeah.
people with disabilities. Where did that um, innate desire to help them come from? Is it because of the Filipino influence in your family that you know Filipinos really look after the elderly or the vulnerable group? Is that coming from a personal experience with that particular cohort or group of people? So can we just unpack that a little bit for the
Yeah.
listener?
Yes. So I actually live with my grandma. She was diagnosed with severe dementia 6 years ago. Um, and as the years have gone, it's been getting worse. So um, since I've been living with my grandma for a long time, she really remembers me. And so I'm always looking after her. And it really was something I was passionate about because I was looking after her. I was showering her, feeding her. And then I realized that I love doing that. And then I didn't even know anything about disability support working or aged care support workers until my mum was telling me about it and everything. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that I could actually do that. Like I could do that because the NDIS, which is the National Disability Insurance Scheme, is new. It's
Yeah,
only been around for about 2 3 years,
yeah.
3 years. Yeah, so um, that's where I first started like my whole passion within like that personal experience of looking after my grandma over the years and really caring for her and seeing that if I've made an impact in her life, I can do this with so many other people, not just elderly, um, for children, for just a woman, Indigenous people,
Mhm.
just, yeah, that,
You're
the
kind of
different,
like branching out in a way because from a personal experience looking after your grandma, you've seen a huge potential to make a difference in other people's lives, which is what I really love about us in general, you know, the people working in the sector, because you need to have a genuine uh, uh, sense of compassion and empathy to be in this sector. Otherwise, if you're just here for the money, you won't enjoy
You
the
enjoy
time, the
it.
opportunity, and the work that you do. Because obviously here in Australia, they put a lot of emphasis around caring for the vulnerable groups, making sure nobody is left behind, everybody is looked after. So there are government systems in place to enable that. For example, public nursing homes and even private nursing homes, the NDIS, for example, not-for-profit organizations that really target those different groups. And then you realize that, hey, there's a potential career in supporting these groups. But I don't know the situation in the Philippines, whether you're just innately drawn to looking after your family, but you don't necessarily get a career out of that.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a job that you don't necessarily get paid for, but you do have to do it because of your obligation as a
Exactly.
family. But here
Yeah.
you can do both. You can still look after your Lola, and because of your
I'm
experience
still
with her, extend that to other people, and that's something admirable in you. And that is the reason why I like interviewing people who, because my motto here in my show is ordinary people doing and creating extraordinary things. So for us, it's just something that we do every day, but we don't realize the impact that we create to others. So I'm really wanting to share your story to the listeners, because I want to inspire other millennials or young people like yourself to think of ways by which they can turn their passion into something good. For example, through your studies, or for in terms of your work as a disability support person, and not just think about themselves, just themselves and what they can eat every day, what dress to wear every day.
yeah.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts or any impressions about other people young like you, your co-millennial group? Do you see any good and bad in terms of the way they do things, they act upon things, the way they make decisions? Because I find that based on your story, you're a little bit more mature because you're doing all sorts of stuff. But in general, what was your observation about the millennials like you?
Well, in today's society, I definitely get what you mean, because I do have a lot of friends that um, that are also in the same um, sort of situation. No, they're the same age as me, but are just doing a bit more less, which is totally fine, because I feel like the way that we were brought up in school was to study, finish school, do uni, find a job, and then find another job, stay there within 40 years, and then retire when you're 65. But now, with the cost of living and everything that's going around, who knows if you can even retire.
Right. And you're already thinking about retirement. I should be more worried about my retirement because I'm older than you. So you're
uh,
kind of self-imposed stressors. You put that on your shoulders in terms of
in my shoulders, I'm
about your
always
future.
thinking,
Yeah.
uh,
So what's your idea of independence? For you, what does that look like? How can you tell yourself that, hey, Anna, at this age you are already this and this and this and that. So you said that you have some friends in a similar situation as you, or maybe other people, but you kind of put a good path for your future, and others may not be in the same boat. So maybe that concept has something to do with independence. So can you elaborate a little bit around that?
as we know, we're all responsible for our own lives, our own actions. Um, I feel like I've grown so much within the past months, because, as you said before, I also have my online business with Arbonne. I do an abundance of personal development. So every morning I wake up at 5 in the morning, sometimes even earlier. Like today, I woke up at 4 a.m. to make breakfast for my partner. And after that, I make sure that I follow, if you haven't read The Miracle Morning, it's an incredible book and it's very inspiring. Basically, it teaches you to go by the Savers method. So I wake up with silence. I don't check my phone. I leave it on airplane mode so I don't get any notifications. You want to start your day with just silence and for yourself. So I also do, during that time, I will list at least 3 things I'm grateful for. Could be hot water, a little bit of like money in your bank or your family. And then it just sets you up for a positive morning. And then the next, affirmations. I know a lot of people tend to have a lot of negative thinking. So instead of saying like, I'm so insecure about this thing, you then project it out to the word, say, I am beautiful, I am brave, I am powerful. And then that just goes into your subconscious mind and it really allows you to believe it. It's the law of attraction, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm completely loving what you're telling us, because this is exactly the kind of things that we need to share with other people. Amidst all the negativity around the world, we need to present the other side of the coin, so to speak, the good things, to also make them realize, oh yes, I also need a little bit of affirmation in my life. Yeah, so that's the A.
So,
Yep, that's the
so
A.
good. You can see behind me, I have a whole list of cue cards that have all my affirmations, and it's just something to look at every morning and to be positive about. And that really has made a big impact in my life, because it really lets me live that peaceful life without all these negativity, because 80% of the time, a lot of your thoughts are negative. That 80%. So I try to avoid that. And then the next one is V, so vision board. So you could create your own vision board, your dreams. One of my dreams is to build an orphanage later in the future, and it's going to be a school where they'll be educated about everything that we need to know today, like safe sex, sanitation.
Yeah.
And you just create that for yourself, how you want your future to look like within the next few years.
Yeah.
And the next one is E, exercise. So each morning I always do some type of exercise, whether it's Zumba, yoga, just some
Stretching. I'm still trying my best in that department.
Oh, but at least you're trying.
I'm trying. But with all my online writing, online courses, webinars that I'm doing at the moment, and this podcast, it kind of slowly creeps in. But I do understand what you mean by silent time, meditation time. I've increased that as well in my life now. So I'm getting there. I'm ticking some of your boxes.
Exercise is in your vocabulary.
I know. So the exercises, how do you do that? Is it in a gym, or do you have a space in your house where you do those exercises, or is it just like me? I rely on YouTube. I've saved some videos and I join those groups on YouTube, and I, just move a little bit. It's not the perfect Zumba move, or it's not the perfect simple cardio workout move.
You're sweating.
Oh no, that's my problem. I don't really sweat a lot after half an hour. I just
really
no.
Oh, you're blessed with that.
I think I'm weird, because unlike other people, that I feel pressured to put on some sweaty stuff on my body, but it doesn't happen.
You've actually stopped your sweat ducts. You're like, don't come out.
That's true. So E is for exercise. What is your R?
R is doing some reading. So I do at least 10 pages of reading. Like I said, The Miracle Morning is a very great book. What else have I read? The Subtle Art of Not Giving. It's also a really good book to really not care about, like, everyone's going to have problems. It teaches you the way to deal with your problems and see a learning opportunity from that problem, rather than just sticking with that problem and not finding a solution from it. That's another book that I like. There's a whole heap. I can give them to Mimi later on if you
Yes.
guys are interested in
Yes.
knowing more about self-help self-help books.
Right.
Tongue twister there. And then the last one is another S, because it savors, is scribing. So it's just do some journal writing. I would just write my goals there. I like to repeat writing my goals, as consistency is key, because we tend to write our goals one day, and then as the days go by, you end up forgetting it. And then you don't really remember what the goals were in the first place. So it's good to always write those every time, and just set your day up of what you're going to be doing later on during the day. And also, what was I going to say? And also just writing like a bit of a reflection of how you felt the day before, what you can improve on, and yeah.
Wow. So it seems that you are more organized now compared to how many months ago when we first met?
I know, a lot can change within the months. If you don't know, I actually did my placement with Mimi. She was my amazing work placement coordinator who taught me so much within working and volunteering with Speakers Bank, and she taught me how to build rapport with people. She boosted my confidence. She threw me in the deep end to learn
Yes.
all these things, but it really got me out of my comfort zone, and yeah, built my confidence and my communication skills.
That's
And I really
good. That's good. So it seems that even as you are at home, you're keeping yourself busy. So I've interviewed a mom who's in the Philippines at the moment, and she said her experiences. She talked about her experiences regarding, juggling work and juggling household chores as a mom, how to juggle internet connection, things like that, so she can upload documents, download documents, because she's a teacher. So you're kind of like on the other end of the spectrum. You're a young woman, you're a student, you're doing your online business, you're trying to organize yourself. How are you coping amidst these restrictions and the current lockdown at the moment? Because this is so different from what you're probably used to. Like younger people always want to go out. So can you tell us, the listeners, something about your experience and perspective about the situation we are in?
This is why I love that we can be on this Zoom call right now, because this is also another device that we use to communicate with, because I do work as a team also, so I do use Zoom to also collaborate, and sort of that's where we communicate with each other, because yes, we can't go out and work as a group, but also like you said, I don't go with the gym and everything, do the workouts at home, sorry Mimi, what were you saying?
Do you like being stuck at home?
Oh, okay, that was okay, I love being stuck at home.
Me too.
I love it.
I love being stuck at home for some reason, but
I love it.
it's a challenge for me though, because the work with the students on placement, we require them to go out to the community and engage with the community, and I need to be there to supervise all their activities. So it's hard to do that at the moment. So we have to stop the placement activities for the meantime. But in your case, you are studying. How does your studying look like at the moment? Is it all online, or is it just self-directed, or how are you doing? Well, with your assessments, for example, if you need to go to the library, if you need to do more research.
Lucky for us, these days everything is online. Everything gets submitted online. There's no paper. You just type it on Microsoft and you just submit it through there. Even my lecturers do Zoom calls with us, and if we need any extra resources, they can always just send us. They do have they've photocopied books that they have that they can just simply send through via online, so
Yeah.
that's easy. But prior to the isolation, I was already studying online. I only really needed to go to go to uni when there was like a test or something like that. That's when someone needed to supervise me, but other than that, It was online, and I love that it was online because it fit in with my routine because it was flexible. Since I'm always so busy, at least I can always submit online. Like, I do have that motivation inside sometimes because I don't have to worry about going out in the cold and going on the train and going to uni. And sometimes I would go to uni and it would be a 4-hour session, and it'll end up only going for 2 hours. And then sometimes I would feel like like I'm wasting a lot of time during the transport when I could be writing up a project or working or something like that during that time. 2 hours is a lot.
Yeah. I hear the same complaints from my kids, so I truly understand what you're talking about. Because Anna, you're like a younger sister or a child to me now. So I'm thinking your parents are of the same generation as myself, or maybe they're a bit longer because you have an older. Do you have an older brother or an older sister?
3 sisters.
They're all older than you. Okay, so I think we've touched on one other point about the difference of the millennials now compared to older people like us, or even older people like our lolas and lolos, that your decisions are anchored upon mostly the convenience of what is available right now, which is not available before, which is this online thing, the internet. So you've got online learning, you've got your business that's also online. I'll ask you a question about how it is online later on. But the other thing is about your, for example, media consumption. I'm assuming that you are also doing a lot of online Netflix watching or things like that. And maybe even purchasing goods. You're probably doing it online more than you go to the shop and browse through the products there. Do you think that there's an advantage and a possible disadvantage to growing up with technology?
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now.
Yes, definitely. So like you said, a lot of Netflix series or even the TikTok, people making TikTok videos and everything like that. It's a bit of a disadvantage because a lot of the time we tend to watch things on Netflix that aren't actually serving us. It's not really actually putting value into your life. If anything, you're sort of wasting your time. You have all the time later on once you've reached your goals to watch Tiger King or watch Desperate Housewives, but it's better to do things that are really going to help and give value to you. That's what I sort of find. That's the disadvantage within the technology, because they're finding things that will make time go fast, but it's not serving you at the end of the day. And when it's not serving you, you're pretty much
coming around. That's right. I really like the way you think, because I can see myself in you when I was younger. I'd rather do things that will make me productive, that will make a difference in the world. I hope to be in a job or in a volunteer work that makes a difference to others, to really value the time and the skill and the talent that I have. So let's go back to your online business, because younger people are into online stuff. Why is this the perfect business for you, and how is it online? Is it not like Tupperware, where you go to people's houses and you demonstrate the use of your product? Can you explain this to other younger people like yourself who are looking for something similar, or don't know yet what they want to do, but they're thinking of doing something different? Just give us a little bit of an insight around that.
Yeah. Okay, so I run my own online business. It's a franchise with an incredible global health and wellness company called Arbonne. They've been around for over 40 years. I just love the business model. So many of you would have told a friend about a product that you loved, and then that friend went and bought it. That's simply how Arbonne works. You simply share the products you love, sell them to your clients, and then earn commissions on your sales. Unlike traditional retail companies that spend money on advertising and promotions, Arbonne cuts the middleman, and products sold directly and exclusively through its independent consultants like me. So So they save so much on advertising, like celebrities advertising the product, and then sponsorships, and just all these promotions. And these are all passed on to independent consultants through the word of mouth and
Right.
just recommending products.
Mm.
And that's pretty much how it works. And if you choose to build a team like me, you have the opportunity to earn overrides, which just means commissions from the sales of your team. So if
Mm-hmm.
Mimi was underneath me, I would be getting a certain percentage under her when she's making her sales. And same goes with her. When she's making sales from her team, she's getting a profit from that as well.
Right. And is that only a product available in Australia, or is it also worldwide?
It's where I'm progressing. We're currently in the UK, the US, Australia, New Zealand, Poland, and Canada.
Okay, so if there are Filipinos in those areas, countries that are viewing us or listening to us, because we have the video and the audio components of this program, so I'm always shifting my vocabulary to listeners, audience, viewers. You never know who's watching you or listening to you at a given time. If you're interested to touch base with Anna and you want to ask more information about this online business of hers, how do they get in touch with you, Anna? Do you want them to get in touch with me and then I connect them to you, or do
Yeah,
you have an
definitely.
official email, or what? How do they contact you?
Well, I know a lot of people my age would have Instagram, so they can simply search up Anna Bascon and you can find me from there. Or you can email me on annabascon.arbonne@gmail.com. It's totally up to you. And yeah, through Mimi.
Yes, yes. So there are many ways of connecting with you now because of this online nature of your business. And Instagram, I'm watching some of the videos that you post online about you mixing your drink and what your day looks like. So it's really enlightening to see younger people like you really making wise use of the time and the resources and the opportunities that you have. Now, Anna, I forgot to tell you that in this show, we also give advice to people, and hopefully will inspire them to act on whatever issues that they have to reverse their negative situation and then turn that into something positive. Because I started my career as a radio broadcaster in the Philippines, and I did receive a lot of letters before because I had a show where I am producing radio drama. So I'm always after some stories, and I get my stories from these letters, and I've just kept them in my email, and now I have an opportunity to revive them. And I'm choosing these situations that are current, that are still applicable today, so we can give advice to other people who may be in the similar situation as them. So do you want me to read the letter, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to give this person advice? Is that okay?
Amazing. Let's do it.
Of course, you will, as a millennial and a person who wants to inspire others, you would want to give this person advice. So most of these letters are written in Filipino. So what I do before we do the podcast, I translate them so we can read them in English. So my translation skills are also put to the test here. Okay, so this is the letter. Dear Mimi, my name is Kathy. I'm 21 years old and studying diploma of IT at a local college here in Manila. I am also a working student working for a fast food restaurant. I am the eldest of 5 children. My parents don't have regular jobs. My mother is a casual employee, and my father is a security, what do you call that? Security guard, a security person.
Yeah.
My problem is about juggling my time between studying and working. I need to work to pay for my school fees and for my allowance, so I do not have to ask my parents for money. But after working at night, I'm really so tired and don't have enough time to study. I want to finish soon to get a better job. But do you think I need to quit my job or my study? Because this person is finding it difficult to juggle both. I'm stressed out and I don't know what to do. Any advice will help. Thanks, Kathy. So you are like Kathy. You're a young person. You're studying. you're also working, you have an online business, but her situation is different. She goes the traditional way of schooling. She commutes daily, attends a school in a building. After that, she works in a fast food restaurant to earn her way to financing her studies. So, in her situation, obviously, she doesn't have the luxury of technology that you have.
Yeah, I could
What's
imagine how stressful and overwhelming she
yes,
was feeling.
yeah,
Um, my advice would be, I think it's amazing that she's studying IT because, as we know, IT is everything today. It's an
right,
excellent industry to be working in,
yeah,
studying. What I would do is she definitely needs to have time for herself, time to reflect, and she needs to breathe a bit. Otherwise, she's going to burn herself out. She's going to burn herself out, and then she'll end up not doing any of them. She'll be very lost through trying to juggle all these things. And then, yeah, that's why she's here to get advice. But what I would recommend is she wouldn't need to recommend her, she wouldn't need to quit her job. Um, I know that she's finding it difficult, but if she saves a big amount, so she's currently paying for her.
yeah. She does because 5 children. She doesn't want to add on to the burden of the we don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
this. We don't know the educational situation of the siblings because she didn't say that. But all she indicated was that she doesn't want to give any additional burden to her parents, so she wants to pay for her own way, school and allowance, and she's quite independent like you, in a way, right?
In a way, this is what I would do. But obviously, I wouldn't want her to take like it might not be well in her situation where she's currently living, but I would stop the studying for now. I would get as much money as I can, travel to somewhere where they do have access to. Oh, this is so hard, Mimi. I don't know what I
Well,
would do.
it depends really. You're kind of on the right track, but I would like to advise her to weigh up the cost of everything that she needs to do to get to her job. For example, how far is this restaurant? We don't really know. Does she have to spend an hour traveling, 2 hours traveling? And how much money is she getting from this
That's
restaurant?
what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and you also hit the nail on the head when you said she's in IT. Just like the health services. Health services will always be here in Australia to stay.
Sure.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs it. So in the Philippines, it's IT that makes a lot of money. It can bring you overseas. So I'm thinking if she could slowly ease herself out of the restaurant job and find an IT related part-time job, like work in an office or do something a little bit online, like do online jobs for other people, like slowly reinvent herself.
Easy. I don't even know why I didn't think of this. Exactly. She should start her own online business. Like what I'm doing at the moment. What I'm doing, I started this online business because I wanted more opportunities to do what I want. I need more time and I need more money.
Mm,
So I know that this business model will work with consistency and hard work. So if I put in this X amount of hours, making the sales, helping people get healthier, helping people build their own legacy and build their own business, they will then have the opportunity to have that money to do what they want. If she wants to do IT, she can do IT. She can do that. She just needs to put that same amount of effort that she's putting in within the fast food job that she's at. Put
mm.
that effort into the business or the IT job that she does later on.
Right. So in short, what we're saying is, Kathy, or whoever the Kathys of today are, if you're in a similar situation as Kathy, don't limit your horizons or don't limit the scope of what you think you can do. I think it's now the time for you to reinvent yourself, just like what Anna said. You can do an online business. Doesn't have to be a product that's in Australia. There are many other
There are
products in the
many. There are
Philippines.
so many.
Yeah, that you can touch base with a local distributor in your area, or maybe do some part-time IT work for a local school or a local
Yeah.
business. So you can you put, like what Anna's saying, you have a little bit of a savings there and put some money aside for an investment, so you can have like that business going. And maybe when it flourishes, you can probably make that a bigger deal than the IT. Maybe use the IT as a kind of like a cushion in terms of helping your business grow. But
Exactly.
obviously, if you still want to go abroad and become an IT expert, we're not going
Do
to.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, stop
yeah, you can
you.
still do it. We're not gonna stop you from doing
And
what you want. But the point is, you are a young person like Anna. There's endless opportunities available waiting for you. It doesn't have to be stressful. You just have to think outside of the
the
box. Do
box.
you agree?
Yes, I agree. And it might be scary because it's something that you're not used to doing and it's something completely different. And it does challenge maybe the perception of your parents. And they, because it's, these online businesses aren't really as the standard, or it's non-traditional. So it can be a bit overwhelming and very, in a way, um, it's just getting out of your comfort zone. And even if it doesn't work, at least you tried. And
Yes.
you're going to be learning. You're going to be surrounded by like-minded people. You're not going to be alone. You will have a mentor that will guide you. And then at the end of the day, you're going to be there for your 5 siblings, and you're going to be a role model for them as well.
Yeah, and you
And
can even I don't know the ages of the siblings too. If there's a person like a 19-year, this person is 21. So if Kathy or any person like Kathy has a younger sibling like 19 or 20 or 18, they can even join together and become a team of their own. It
exactly,
doesn't have
yes,
to be the oldest person always doing the job.
I know, yeah,
A team
of course,
effort. Yeah, it could be
yeah,
a team effort. And then they can use social media to promote themselves and to promote their products. So
yes.
it's
Everyone's
really,
on their phones these
yeah.
days.
Sometimes other people need to get perspectives from others like us, or to just open their eyes to possibilities that they haven't thought about before. And I really, really like chatting with you, but I don't think we can extend anymore.
Yes, yes, of course.
um,
This was
I
great.
I hate it when it's time for me to cut the show and say goodbye to my guests and to the viewers or listeners, because I really love talking, as you know, and I wish that the conversation can go on and on. But I do appreciate the time you have. And do you have any final words or anything you wish to say to the audience before I close the show?
My final words would just be, do things that will serve you and that will give value to yourself, and stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much
Yes.
for having me here today.
Oh, no
Really
worries.
great.
It's my pleasure. And I really thank you for giving me your time. So, guys, if you have any stories or topics that you wish to feature in our show, you can reach out to me via email. You can email me at mimi@dinosocial.com. Samutsari, again, is a member of the Gorilla Podcast Syndicate. You can also reach out to Mimi, my Dinosocial Facebook page, or through my Twitter account. And don't forget to subscribe and like my YouTube channel and the Gorilla Podcast website. Anna, the podcasts are available through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, OneCast, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Castro, and Castbox. I think they're trying to dominate the world now.
Yeah, wow, that's a
Starting,
lot,
yeah,
but
we're just starting. So I think what will happen is once the show is out, because this airs weekly, my show is a weekly show. I'm gonna send you the link so you can help promote it to your friends, family,
of course.
and whoever you wish to listen to you.
Everyone would want to listen to your beautiful voice.
Now the singing side of me is a collaboration with my daughter, who's also very interested and passionate in music. So I think the final words for me today is, younger people like Anna have a lot of dreams in life, like most young people do. But rather than just making those dreams sit on your head. I think the best way to make them a reality is act on it. Yeah. Do something
Start
to
now, take the leap of faith.
Yes, take the leap of faith. So that ends our Samsari conversations with Mimi today. Thank you, everybody. Anna, you can say goodbye to them too. And we'll see you in the other episodes. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out gorillapodcast.com.ph.
A Gorilla Podcast Syndicate production.